Hello and welcome to Module 9. Module 9 is our last unit of new material. After this, we only have Module 10, which is going to help you prepare for the final exam and also give you some ideas about writing the final paper, which is useful because we're really nearing the end now. And the more time and the more effort that you put into polishing your final paper, the better it will be. And actually, Module 9 contains a lot of information that should strengthen your paper, but might not be fully necessary to you in understanding policy analysis. In particular, what we're looking at is some critiques and extensions onto cost-benefit analysis. I do a brief discussion of cost-benefit analysis in the voiceover PowerPoint for Module 9, and you'll be introduced to ideas such as discounting for risk and discounting for time, and also the idea of an expected value. Remember that an expected value is the score, the either utility or an actual money that a alternative selected is expected to get. So you can't just say, well, if we select my alternative, it's going to work as well as I hope. And so I'm 100% certain that you're going to get all of this benefit, all of this output that you're expecting. Rather, there's a good chance, hopefully there's a good chance that if you select your alternative that it will work. But there's also some chance that it will work less than you would hope. And so an expected value is a calculation of the probability that it will work, the probability that it will work partially, and the probability that it won't work at all. After all, if we're looking at the effort to get to Mars, right? So, who's that guy, Elon Musk, and he has this plan. That's his name, right? And his plan is to get to Mars, and he's going to colonize Mars, and I guess those people are never going to return, but they're just going to live happily off on the red planet. Maybe they'll meet some Edgar Rice Burroughs characters, and they'll have all sorts of great adventures. Well, maybe that works. Maybe what in fact happens is that they launch somebody, he becomes the Prince of Mars, and he's happy, and he scores that as a 100, right? Maybe you go there, you live for a while, you colonize for a while, you hold on long enough for someday us to develop the technology to rescue you and your family and bring them home. And, that's also a great adventure, but probably a little less than becoming the ruler of the entire planet. And then, less than that, you get to have a great adventure and then you die on Mars. And then less than that, you blow up somewhere along the way. Less than that, I don't know. What is the worst adventure that you could have? We'll give that a negative score. Well, anyway, you multiply the probability of each of those things happening. The infinitesimal chance that there's creatures on Mars that we don't know about. The somewhat better chance that you could find a way to live there for a while. The much better chance you go there, you live your life, and then you die. The even better chance you go there, you live a less time than you would have. Anyway, we add up all of those probabilities, then all the probability of everything happening is 1 out of 1, right? 100% chance that something will happen. And so each of the outcomes that might potentially happen are a proportion of that. You can calculate this, right? And for instance, people do this an awful lot on, say, the risk of car accidents. Why do we wear seatbelts today? Because you're much safer if you wear a seatbelt. And people decided that the inconvenience of wearing a seatbelt was tiny compared to the inconvenience of being thrown out a windshield. Now, this is This is called discounting for risk. When you say that the chance of what you hope for happening is not 100%, then you're discounting for risk. You can also discount for time. For instance, if something bad is going to happen in 10 years, then that's much better than if something bad is going to happen tomorrow, if it's equally bad. Or if something good is going to happen, it's better if it happens tomorrow than if it happens in 100 years. I think most people who are impatient for reform of whatever societal ill probably believe that it's better if this gets fixed sooner than later. Why do you believe this? Because you know and you recognize that the future is not worth as much to us as the present. So you should look at the slides, you should listen to the voiceover on it, and I hope I give it a nice introduction. We give the example of a lottery ticket and its payoffs to allow us to look at discounting for both time and risk. Now, I would also say that you should look at and you should imagine your particular policy. It would be fair game on the final exam for me to ask you to look at your policy and say, well, how would you discount for time and risk? So we have several articles that I'm hoping that you get a chance to look at. The Dreizik article on evidence-based policy making in the social sciences is real good. I think that its critique of how seldom people actually look at and do research in conducting social science and policy analysis is very useful. I think that one of the problems that I think if you're honest with yourself, most of you will have with your final paper is that you decided what you wanted the government to do, pretty early in your investigation. Many of you came to me with a solution and you said, this is what I want to study. I want to study how we're going to fix this problem by using, and then whatever the alternative is that you most wanted. Now, in practice, there's going to be a lot of that, right? One of the main principles of policy making theory is that just as there's problems seeking solutions, there seems to be solutions seeking problems. Ask somebody at a libertarian think tank and they'll say, hey, I have a tax cut to sell you. I think that we have to admit to ourselves that tax cuts exist, people want tax cuts, and people are looking for problems that a tax cut might fix. The idea of carbon credits comes from the idea of, hey, let's find a way to turn it into something that can be sold on the market, right? Again, libertarians are constantly looking for things that they can turn into products for sale. Ultimately, though, we don't have to work from that perspective, but we should be able to look at and say, there is a possibility that what I want won't work. And if what I want doesn't work or doesn't work completely, what are we left with then? It's kind of like the person who digs up his backyard to put in a pool. If you discovered there was no such thing as swimming pools, what do you do with that hole in your backyard? The next article from Posner talks about problems with quantifying in cost-benefit analysis. And I think this is actually this is a video. I think it'd be a very good video for you to watch. The reaction paper number 7 is based on this video. And really, that is the bulk of what you're being asked to look at for Module 9. So you have about a half an hour video from me, about a 40-minute video from Posner, and an article from Dreizik. and then you'll be good to go. Because what I really want you to be doing is I want you to be working on your paper. The effort that so many of you put into the course so far has been impressive, but we need to finish strong. We want there to be more A's than B's, and we want there to be very few grades lower than that. And for those of you who haven't given up, most of you are in still good position to get an A or a B in this course. And I want you all to get the grade you're hoping for. You know, if you haven't done any of the assignments and you're hoping for an A, I don't want you to get an A. But the grade you're reasonably hoping for, and most of you, that can still be an A. And so I hope you hang in there. I'm grading your Stone book reports, and I will have results to you as soon as I can. Good luck, and feel free to contact me. We just had a couple people contact me this week, and I hope I've helped them, and I hope that you feel that I am a resource to you. Good luck, and I will talk to you again in Module 10, perhaps a fairly decent sized discussion of what you should be expecting on the final exam.